Hey everyone, welcome back to Angela's Aging Essentials. Let's have a little story time. This is the most embarrassing story. I just kind of want to let you guys know the mindset of how different it is when you are in addiction compared to when you are in sobriety. So welcome to my channel. My name is Angela. Currently I have almost 10 years of sober, and I just get really excited. You know, if any of you guys are struggling with addiction, I get excited to be able to share that there is hope. Because when I was drowning in addiction, I honestly thought that there was no way that I could even have one day sober, let alone 10 years. And if I can do it, then I'm here to tell you, I know that you can do it. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can leave me a comment. You can find my email in the About Me section. I will always be here to support you and listen and give you any advice from the horrible situations that I was in during my addiction. Please don't forget to subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, smash that bell, and let's jump right into this story. A lot of times in my storytelling, I do get really vulnerable because a lot of times things that you do when you're in active addiction are definitely not something that you would do if you were clear-headed and thinking the way that you should be, instead of letting your addiction lead and guide all of your decisions. So please don't ever take any of the stories that I tell you guys and, think that I'm trying to justify them. I'm not. And it has taken, 10 years for me to really just accept some of the things that I've done. And I don't ever want it to come off if I giggle, or anything like that. I really I paid my dues. Anytime that I got in trouble with the law, I had to pay for those mistakes that I made. And I have not even had a speeding ticket in 10 years. So if I laugh or giggle, it's not because I'm proud of what I done. It's just that 10 years later, I can really look back at some of the things and think to myself, like, Angela, girl, like, are you for real? Like, are you for real? Some of the things that I done are just honestly unbelievable. So let's jump into the Christmas that I spent in jail. Another lesson that I'll hope that you take from this is that anytime you get in trouble with the police, it's not ever going to go away. It's not like you can just say, it's not like a bad boyfriend that you can just drop and then you never have to deal with them again. You really have to be held accountable for the bad decisions that you make and the trouble that you get into. And, once you are in trouble with the police, it's something that you've got to do what they tell you. You've got to abide by the rules. You've got to play by their rules, and you just really have to do what they tell you that you're going to have to do, because if you don't, then this is what's going to happen. So it was several months before Christmas, probably in the summer. I don't even know what year this happened. It's been at least, it's been probably 15, 16 years ago that this actually happened. But I had gotten into some trouble and had to, I got a court date, had to show up in court. And of course I was like, I'm not going to court. I'm afraid they're going to arrest me, and, I won't be able to get my, drugs in jail, or I didn't think. And, there's just no way, I'm not going. So, I had the mindset of good luck catching me. Good luck with that. However, I had already been arrested. In order to get out of jail when I did, I had to have a bondsman, like Dog the Bounty Hunter. And I just thought, it's a bondsman. They sign your bond, and for something so small as what mine was, are they really going to come looking for you? You know what I mean? Like, well, yeah, they really are going to come looking for you, especially if you miss your court date, because they have to pay your bond. And, it doesn't matter if it's $500 or $50,000, they're coming to get their money. So it was actually the day before Christmas Eve, and me and my husband and my oldest daughter were, at home, and we were just kicking it. And I had put a pot of beans on the stove, like I think white beans or something. And I had made some cornbread, and we were just going to eat beans and cornbread, because that's what us Southerners do. And we had went out on the porch. We have a really nice porch. It just kind of overlooks the valley. And we live on a dirt road. So if anybody's coming down the dirt road, you can hear them for miles away. And when they get a good distance from your house, you can see their headlights. And I knew that I was running from, this bondsman, and had been for several months. And sitting on the porch, I saw these headlights, and I just got the strangest feeling. I thought, that's the police, because there were two sets of headlights. So it was the bondsman and then the police. And I thought, that's the police. The reason why I got that feeling is because it was the holidays. Everybody's comfortable at home. They thought, we are fixing to show up, and we are fixing to get this girl. So I said to my husband, his name's Doug, I said, Doug, it's the police. So we come running inside, turn off all the lights, lock the door, and I still have beans cooking on the stove. I just completely forgot about the beans. So embarrassing. Sure enough, a few minutes later, boom, 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 boom. The police, when they knock on the door, you're never, ever going to mistake a friend knock to the popo knocking. Honey, they knocking. And they were, boom, 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 boom. It's the police. Open up. Then I hear the bondsman. Angela, you skipped your court hearing. Like, I have a warrant for your arrest. Boom, 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 boom. And I was like threatening Doug. I was like, you are not going to the door. Like, they will go away. They will know we're not here, and they will go away. On my front door, it's like, it has a glass section at the top of it. So, and also my dryer was going. It's like, I just cannot. And the vehicles were in the yard. But we were pretending like we weren't home, because I was high out of my mind, and, they'll just go away. So I'm like, Doug, you better not say anything. You do not say a word. You are not going to the door. And the whole time that I am threatening Doug's life if he goes to the door, the bondsman and the police are legit standing on the other side of the door, can see have a gas stove. They can see the gas flames boiling underneath this pot of beans, the dryer going, and they can clearly see that somebody's home, and they're hollering, we are going to kick your door down. You've got this opportunity, this opportunity, this opportunity. We're going to kick your door down if you do not come and let us in, because we know that you're home. And I'm like, we are not home. Be quiet. We're not home. I knew that if I went to jail, I would be in jail for Christmas, because I knew that the magistrate was not going to be there. I knew if they took me to jail that day that I would be in jail Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Maybe I would get out the day after Christmas, but I really doubted it. So to make a long story short, they legit end up kicking down my front door. Like, they kicked it all the way down. Like, they literally kicked my door down. They come in, and guns drawn, and found us hiding. My husband jumps up, and he's like, she's in so-and-so, and, the room I was in, and they come in there. And I remember the bondsman was so upset with me, because he was like, Angela, we literally told you that we were going to kick down your door. We knew that you were here. Your vehicle is in the driveway. You have beans that are now burnt. They had all the juice had boiled out of the beans. So I had dry, burnt, charcoal beans, on the stove. The dryer's going. He said, we knew that you were here. We literally were rolling up, and we seen all of the lights in the house go from all on to all off. So the fact that you were so immature and so disrespectful to make us kick your door down, yeah, you're going to jail. He even told me, had you opened the door and, you know, communicated with me what your plans were going to be for Christmas, you know, I would not have taken you to jail, but you blew all of those chances because you made us kick your door down. So, you know, that was fun. Um, and they did. They loaded me right up and carried me to the county jail, and I got to stay in jail Christmas Eve and Christmas. And it was the first time that I actually went to jail. When I had got arrested before, you know, I was able to bond out immediately before I went into a cell. And it would be the first time of a few times that I actually went to jail. You would have thought that I would have learned my lesson, but, you know, no, you don't learn your lesson when you are in active addiction. So I went to jail, and I'll never forget the day I went to jail. It was later in the evening. It was probably 8:39, 9:30 at night. So I got to jail, I went to sleep, and I woke up the next day, didn't have my drugs. Everything started really, you know, making sense of what happened. Angela, how have you allowed yourself to get in this situation? Like, you are in jail on Christmas Eve. Like, what are you even doing? And the cell that I was in had a little window, and I could see out into the parking lot. And I saw my husband and my daughter pull up. Bless my oldest daughter's heart, y'all. I told you guys in my first video about addiction and sobriety, she was my toughest critic, but she is my biggest fan and my biggest supporter. We have the best relationship, and I just am so thankful every day for her, because I was a horrible, horrible mother to her. When you're in addiction, you cannot be good to anybody, including yourself. And I have really had to put in the work to gain her trust and let her know that that person has been gone for 10 years and they're not coming back. And I'm just really thankful that I have her. But out the window, I could see them walking up, and they had a coloring book and some crayons that they tried to leave me. But, you know, when you're in jail, you're not getting a coloring book and crayons. That's not how it works. And I remember looking out the window, watching them walk back, and I was just like, hey, I'm up here, you guys. I was crying, and it was just really, really awful. And the movie Elf, everybody loves that movie, but the whole 2 days that I was in jail, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, that movie was the only movie that they played on the TV, and it would play, it would go off, it would play, it would go off, it would play, it would go off. So I have never even watched that entire movie. People talk about it being hilarious, but it's a movie that I relate to a really horrible time in my life, and I ain't watching it. So if you're an Elf lover, I support you, but just know that, you know, I mean, it was playing on TV for 48 hours straight. It was like a movie, I guess. There was no commercials. It just played the entire time. So I ended up getting to bond out of jail the day after Christmas. And that scared me. Being in jail that one time really, really scared me, because it was the first time ever in my life when I was in a situation where I couldn't get out. Like, once you're in jail, you're not getting out. You know, you're there till they let you go. And it was an eye-opener to where I didn't want to go back. And I did go back. You know, it's still related to that same case. Every time I went to jail, it was over that same stupid case that for some reason I just didn't handle. You know, so just know that I never share these stories with you guys because it's anything that I'm proud of. It's embarrassing and I'm ashamed of it. However, sharing these stories with you guys, you know, I just want to be honest and real with you guys. And this is 15, 16 years ago, and it has really taken a lot of hard work to get to the point where I'm not really ashamed to share these stories. I'm not proud to share them, and it's super embarrassing, but I'm not ashamed to share them because that's what addiction does to you. Addiction changes who you are as a person. It changes the way you think, the way you talk, the way you act, the things you do. It changes everything. The only thing that matters to you is your addiction. So if I can share these stories you know, about things that happened to me when I was in addiction, like going to jail on Christmas Eve and Christmas. I mean, who even does that? You know, then I want to be able to share these stories with you guys and show you that, you know, addiction is not good. And if you are involved with the police, once the police get your name and they know who you are, it's almost like a marathon to, you know, in a slow marathon at that, not a marathon that you're trying to win, but it's a marathon you're just trying to get through, because you just seem to continually do stupid things. Once the police has your information, you just continue to do things that are just so stupid. So anyways, that is my story about me being in jail on Christmas. Please know, you guys, please know, my sobriety is something that I take very, very seriously. I thank the Lord every single day when my eyeballs open and when my eyeballs close at night. I thank the Lord for being my higher power, for giving me the support and continuing to be the one that helps me to maintain my sobriety. So if you are struggling, you can always reach out to me. I will do anything that I can do to help you. Support is one of the most important things when you decide to get sober. Support is going to make or break your journey. And not everybody out there has good support. So if I can ever offer myself to be support for you, then I am always going to be willing to be that support, because it is crucial to your recovery that you have somebody who believes in you and somebody that is going to support you. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys don't think that I am just a complete whack job when I share these stories, but I share them because the Lord puts it on my heart. And sometimes sharing these stories, it really puts into perspective how much over the past, you know, decade that I have really, really transformed my life. So sometimes sharing these stories and reliving these horrific events really help to put me on the track to move forward, to share my journey, to share my story, so that you can find hope in my journey. So I hope you guys have a beautiful Thanksgiving, and we will see you in the next video.